The whole back and forth over whether or not Pete Hegseth committed a war crime is far more complicated than Democrats would like you to think. And that's the point, right? But most Democrats and a number of cable news personalities have zero desire to wait for the facts.
This rises to the level of a war crime.
Well, there's reason to believe that war crimes may have been committed.
Then he goes and orders what is a potential war crime.
I also think that that would be a war crime.
It is something that's going to be looked at as a potential war crime.
Highly irresponsible. The anti-Trump crowd presupposes that the second or maybe fourth strike on a drug-running boat is by definition illegal. Boat strike blame game was the headline on the Drudge Report. It assumes someone committed a crime, which means somebody must be blamed, which means somebody will be the fall guy. Wrong, wrong, and wrong. So let's compare notes here on how this story is being told. First, you have the talking heads at MS Now versus a former military officer who has been in the room where these strikes are ordered.
This is a disaster for this generation of people serving in the United States military.
We in the military typically conduct second and third and fourth strikes on targets if the first strike does not achieve the objectives of that target.
Even if you assume the extra missile strikes killed drug runners clinging to wreckage, it still does not mean a war crime necessarily took place. We all remember the Washington Post story that started this all. But Republicans are now pointing to a lot of new information disputing, maybe even debunking that first report.
There were 5 other sources from another newspaper saying that no, he did not do that and make that order. I find it more plausible with the other source.
So this is why we have investigations. Tomorrow, Congress will hear from Admiral Frank Bradley, who reportedly ordered the second, third, and fourth strikes. His testimony will be key, as will any video evidence that exists. But we have to remember, Democrats set the precedent of bombing whoever they want under the guise of who is going to prosecute us. Nobody prosecuted anybody back then. Former President Barack Obama launched 563 strikes across the Middle East during his 2 terms, killing anywhere from 384 to 807 civilians. Not non-combatants, not people who were clinging to wreckage. Civilians, women, children, innocent people. Here's how the president then defended it.
The legal architecture around the use of drone strikes or other kinetic strikes wasn't as precise as it should have been, and there's no doubt that civilians were killed that shouldn't have been.
And nobody wanted to have Leon Panetta strung up on war crimes charges. That was President Obama's answer in public. Privately, he reportedly told senior aides, quote, "Turns out I am really good at killing people." Didn't hear any Democrats call for war crimes tribunals. The president has wide latitude to set the rules of engagement and wide latitude in declaring who is a terrorist. Now, you can argue with those rules, but those are the rules. Whether that's President Obama, even President Trump, same thing. As we said, when it comes to war crimes, it is very...
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.